I get to start the administrator. The subject of today's discussion is on pleasures. Pleasures. Should we enjoy pleasures in this journey of enlightenment or not? Should we enjoy pleasures in this journey or not? So with that note, let us start this discussion. Who would like to ask? I told you, every week, if you do not ask question or 2-3 times, that means something is wrong. You need to ask questions. Outdoor setting is okay, Sudeep, not a problem, right? Okay, because for a change, I'm in front of a beautiful lake and I'm enjoying this pleasure. Anything wrong in enjoying the pleasure is the question. That's the subject today. Pleasures. Should we enjoy pleasures or not? I'm still waiting for the champion to start. Who is the champion of today's discussion as we have this outdoor session from Iceland? Yes, please. You don't like pleasures? Shivoham? Yogini, bolo.
Yeah, we can enjoy pleasures, but pleasures are like fire. They always keep us thirsty. So instead of having this type of thirst, why not we think of the sip, like mere dil mein bas ek tum hi ho. We can always.
So that means what you're saying is mere dil mein bas ek tum hi ho, to ye sab kuch nahi ho. There should be nothing else except mere dil mein bas ek tum hi ho. Is that what you're telling?
We should not get in like too deep into this. Pleasures are there. We should just enjoy it, but not create karmas and all.
So I'm going back to the question. Pleasures. You are a yogini. You want enlightenment. You are on Ask AiR call. Pleasures. Should we enjoy pleasures or not? I don't like to beat around the bush. I like to be straight. I like to help you all to have a clear answer. Should we? The question, today I'm having a cup of coffee, right? It's a pleasure. Should we enjoy?
You can have a cup of coffee, but you should not plunge into it. That I need a coffee and all that.
Plunge
if you
into
get
an
a
ocean
coffee,
of coffee.
Very good. If you get a coffee, right. If you don't get a coffee, you should not run behind it. That is what I try to say.
We have masters. We have masters like Yogini who can give the full lecture of. You don't need me, I told you. So Master Yogi says that you have a coffee, but you don't have to be thirsty for coffee, right? Okay, so the next, thank you for starting this championship. I always like the ice to break. We then have Vivek and Atmatray. Vivek and then Atmatray. Vivek, boliye.
Shivoham Guruji.
Shivo, मैं गुरुजी नहीं हूँ. AiR बोलो. हाँ, बोलो Vivek.
हाँ, तो AiR में लेजर हमें एंजॉय तो करने चाहिए, बस ये है योग में रहते हुए करने चाहिए, कॉन्शियसनेस में रहते हुए करने चाहिए.
उसका मतलब
हमें उनमें खोना नहीं चाहिए, डूबना नहीं चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि फिर वो हमें कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं, हम उनके बिना नहीं रह पा रहे हैं.
ब्यूटीफुल.
है तब भी
क्या आप भी मास्टर बन गए क्या? आप इतने बड़े भाषण दे रहे हैं भैया.
नहीं यार,
Vivek is saying you can enjoy. What a beautiful answer. Vivek says you can enjoy pleasure, but you must enjoy pleasure not in the state of mind. Yesterday we spoke mind versus consciousness. You must enjoy pleasure in a state not of mind, but a state of consciousness. Yesterday we had 12 points and Aru added a 13th point in the middle of the night. She sent me a 13th point. So we've added 13 points. So who remembers the 12 points yesterday? Mind versus consciousness. This is Vivek is reminding me of mind versus consciousness. After that, Atmatra and Bliko is in line. But who remembers the 12 points? And I'll give you the 13th point. Who remembers the 12 points? Mind versus consciousness. Who can tell me? Anybody who tells it by heart, I should give a big prize. But by reading is a second prize.
I will read and tell so.
Anybody knows by heart? Otherwise, Yogini will read. Anybody knows it by heart? So you all should try to, Yogini, please, can you tick whatever I'm telling? Can you tick? You have a pen in front of you or you don't have a pen?
I have, sir.
So I'm just telling you how to remember it. So the 3 points yesterday we spoke were: one, mind versus consciousness. It's Shaitan versus Bhagwan, Mithya versus Satya, Bhoga versus Yoga. 3 points are Hindi. It's easy to remember. And I told you that 12, Aru added 113. So the 9 points we spoke yesterday is mind versus consciousness, glad versus sad, thought versus thoughtless, intellect conceals versus intellect reveals, God on lip, God is sip, confusion, conclusion, perspiration, liberation. How many have I given you? I've given you 5, 4 more to go, 3 more to go. Knowledge and enlightenment. Swing. The mind, Bliss said, the mind makes you swing, but a consciousness makes you sing. We change the word. It makes you swing and makes it sing. And one more point, which is the point.
Junk.
Mind
Junk.
makes you junk and consciousness makes you monk. So you should know it. I also learned it yesterday with you. And Aru added a 13th point. I'm adding you. Yesterday she gave me a 13th point. And she said, mind will take us to rebirth. And in consciousness, we will not come back to earth. Mind, rebirth, consciousness, no return to earth. And I've given to you all in rhyming forms. All the 12 are rhyming, 13 are rhyming forms. So Vivek, he is right. We can enjoy pleasure, but in consciousness and not pleasure in mind state. Bliko and Atmatre. Bliko.
Shivoham, AiR, Shivoham, everybody.
Show him, sir.
So this pleasure is a temporary things. If we know the temporary nature of the pleasure, it is nothing wrong in enjoying it when it comes. Otherwise, you are always in the yoga and you are always in the enjoyment, because everything is bliss and everything is manifestation of God. So you live in moment to moment in happiness, which comes from within, not coming from outside, not depending on any other things. If it comes coffee, you take a coffee. If you don't have coffee, no problem. You can still enjoy with a cup of water also.
Yes, if coffee doesn't come, if tea comes, you should also be happy with tea. You should not say, I want only coffee.
Coffee only.
You should not. If you get chocolate, okay. If you get toffee, even toffee is okay. So you do not have to have, whether it's coffee or toffee, whether it's tea or something else, it's okay. You have to learn to accept. And Bliss says, Bliko says, not Bliss, Bharat living in consciousness. He says that everything is a manifestation. Even this coffee is sip. Every sip of coffee is sip. When I take a sip, I think of sip. So what is wrong in that? So you have to be in that state of consciousness. Then pleasure is good. But still, nobody is telling me pleasure is bad. I'm surprised. I'm surprised in this call. All of you, all the Swamis of this world, all the Jain Munis will tell you, bach ke rehna, be careful, don't do this, ye mat karo, wo mat karo, no this, no this, no this, no this, no this, no. But in Ask AiR, we don't tell like that. We don't say no this, no this, no this. Why come? How come? I mean, something dal mein kuch kala hai. Something is not good in this call, people will say. Atmatray, I want somebody to question. Pleasure is not good. But first, Atmatray. Yes, Atmatray.
Same, sir. How we can distinguish wants and needs? For
yes.
Needs, we can pleasure. But without greeding or attachment, we should enjoy the pleasure.
Means, explain.
We enjoy pleasure, but there should not be any attachment for the pleasure. It should be momentary, spontaneous. I will take ice cream at any time. There is no harm, but I will attach to it. It will be.
Very good.
Uh-huh.
There should be no desire, and there should be no passion for pleasure.
Okay.
So what Atmatra is saying is very beautiful. I will just add one or two words. Atmatra is saying, when pleasure comes as a prasadam, enjoy it, because it is coming from the divine. When pleasure comes from the divine, enjoy the sunshine. But if pleasure is coming because of your desire, the desire will make you burst. It will create a thirst. That is not good. That is what Yogini said in the beginning also. We should not have this passionate desire, because as long as we have the passionate desire, then we will never be in that state of peace. Then pleasure will rule our life, but there will be no peace. Okay, so who's going next?
Don't
I have
get
a time.
into bhoga.
Yes, sir.
Take care. Don't slip into bhoga.
Excellent. Enjoy pleasure in yoga. I'm changing one word, Girish. Girish says enjoy pleasure in, he didn't say yoga. Girish said don't enjoy pleasure in bhoga. I'm saying enjoy pleasure in yoga. Means what, Girish? As long as I'm in yoga, yogi jo yog mein sada hi rahe, prabhu ke yog mein rahe. Coffee bhi piye, pakoda khaye, sada yog mein wo khaye. Even if you're eating pakoda and chai, if you're sitting with somebody and having pakoda and chai, you should be in yoga. You should know, I am the Atma, I am the Ruh. And you should not, what Girish is saying, we should not sink in bhoga. What
Chai
is
ki
bhoga?
makki mat bano.
Chai ki makhi mat bano. See, Girish is saying, don't be like that makhi which goes and sinks in the chai. And then, instead of you eating the pizza is eating you. So then the problem is that, you must, suppose pizza is in front of you. Should you enjoy the pizza? Of course, enjoy the pizza. Every piece of cheese, it is made of, it is divine. It's a manifestation of the divine. But don't get lost in the bhoga of it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it as a manifestation of the divine. Enjoy everything in this world, because everything is everything. Prabhu hi ek satya, jag ye hai mithya, jo bhi dikhta yahan, wo satya na wo mithya. Enjoy everything in yoga. Beautiful. Girish, beautiful. Rekha Parvani. We have a written one, but always written words will get last priority. But we have Dasi and Bliss in writing. Rekha. Yes, Rekha.
Shubham, AiR.
Sure.
As long as pleasures don't rob our peace of mind, we can enjoy it.
Good. When the pleasure starts to affect your peace, when the pleasure makes you into pieces, suppose you have a pleasure and that pleasure makes you unhappy, then what is the use of this pleasure? Beautiful point, Rekha Parvani, very enlightening point. Don't let the pleasure steal your peace. We should don't let your pleasure steal your peace. Let it not get you into pieces. You should enjoy pleasure with fulfillment, with contentment. Don't crave with your pleasure. You'll reach your grave. Don't have that feeling of craving. Good. So we have two questions typed. We will interrupt and then come back to you. Dasi Budrani. Pleasure is fine, but do not get attached and not the doer. So pleasure is fine, Dasi also says, but do not get attached. Attached means, suppose somebody wants a glass of beer and they become mad. That they don't get that glass of beer, they must have that beer. They must have that beer. It may be beer, it may be whiskey. This becomes addiction. So Dasi is leading us to the next point. Don't let your pleasure become an addiction, right? So when it says you're not the doer, means the pleasure, as long as it's coming from SIP, it's fine. Somebody's giving you pleasure, accept it. Don't sink in it. What Girish said, don't go into the bhoga of the pleasure. Remain in the yoga. What Vivek said, enjoy the pleasure in consciousness. Don't enjoy the pleasure in mind. Beautiful. I think we are getting a lot of value in today's discussion. Like I told you, every session of Ask AiR. Sometimes my administrator tells us Sunday we should cancel. People won't come on Sunday. I said, no. People want, this is a dose. This is like a dose of energy, and everybody wants this energy on a daily basis. So if you notice, those who come on the call, they come every day, because this is a recipe for enlightenment. This call is a recipe. Whatever, sometimes people are not able to on the video, they are cooking in the kitchen, but the audio is on. Sometimes they are driving, but they are on. So that is the commitment. You need to be committed to your enlightenment. I tell people, if you cannot give 40 minutes a day to this call, that means you're not serious. So if you are serious about enlightenment, because every day we don't talk about cricket and football and Narendra Modi and Congress, and we don't talk about political news. We talk only about enlightenment. Therefore, this call should become a priority of your life, because you are coming to learn, you're coming to contribute, you're coming to discuss. So therefore, it should become the greatest pleasure. To me, this call is a pleasure. There's nothing wrong in this pleasure, because it's great. It's great enlightenment. We have got bliss. Bliss says we can enjoy pleasure but not become a slave of it. Very good. Beautiful. So bliss is saying enjoy pleasure. Bliss says, but don't become a slave. Because if the pleasure can tie your wings with strings, if the pleasure can tie your wings with strings, there was one lady and she was telling me it's a great pleasure to get married to somebody. You know what I told her? I told her, if you get married and you lose your freedom, you have lost everything. You have lost everything. So some people, they are wise. They give importance to freedom. And some people, they don't realize that, for example, I know some people who can't come on this call because their partner doesn't permit them to come on this call. No, you cannot go on this call. Yeah, but you have to have your freedom. So therefore, let not the pleasure, somebody is giving you pleasure, but don't become a slave. Don't become a slave to the pleasure. The most important thing in this world is mukti. Mukti means you should be able to do what you want to do the way you want to do, because you should be a master of you. Bliss is saying, let the pleasure not become your master. This is a big mistake. We let a pleasure make us a slave. We cry till we reach our grave. So this is wrong. The next point we have is from Leena Anand. Pleasure to be enjoyed, but don't crave for it or become a same point. Leena Anand and Bliss, they both gave the same point. So we have got, I believe, some more people who are now live on the question. Who's it next? Gautam and Rumataji. Gautam.
Shivam, AiR.
Sure.
AiR, once we have given human birth, pleasures are must. There's 100% guarantee that pleasure will come. So we have to accept the God's will, and we have to surrender. We have to surrender what happens in our life. So we have to enjoy the pleasure, accepting God's will and surrender.
What do you mean? What do you mean by, explain what you're saying?
We have to enjoy the pleasure, and we have to accept the God wish, and we have to surrender to God.
But once we get married, what did you say? Once we get married, is that what you said?
No, once we get human birth, pleasure are must.
Pleasure and pain, both are must. Not only pleasure. When you come to this human birth, you get pleasure, you get pain. You get sun, you get rain. You get loss, you get gain. And it happens again and again. So it's not that it's not only pleasure. There will be pleasure and there will be pain. And you have to accept it as a prasadam. Gautam, why is pleasure and pain coming? Tell me, Gautam.
Because of mind, AiR.
No. Mind is second. Why is pleasure and pain coming?
Because we don't accept the God's will and we don't surrender it.
What you said just now. When you take birth, we get pleasure and pain. That is coming from our past karma. that is coming from our past karma and also from our present karma. A combination of past karma and present karma is called twin karma. Today, if you are sitting in your house and some gift is coming to your house, what is the result of that gift? It is your karma. It is not magic. There is, when some prasad is coming, when some gift is coming, some pleasure is coming, sitting in your house, that is a result of karma. Therefore, we should understand. And what we do is also karma. So both past karma and present karma. That was Gautam. We now have Rumataji and then
Thank you,
Rajan. Thank you. Rumataji and then Rajan.
Guruji,
Yes.
pranam.
Pranam Mataji.
Shivoham.
So, Guli.
Shivoham. Guruji, there is no harm in enjoying the pleasures, but we should remember that they are temporary and inconsistent. Whereas when we are consciousness, it is eternal bliss and it is consistent.
Very good. So suppose today you are getting some pleasure, you should not become attached to it, because when you get attached to that pleasure, then the expectation comes. When the expectation comes, disappointment comes. So we have to be clear that our pleasure should not be attachment. There should be no expectation. There should be no disappointment. So Rumataji is saying, what did you say, Rumataji? Aapne kya word use kiya?
It is temporary and inconsistent.
The pleasure, I know, inconsistent. I like the word. Pleasure is always inconsistent. Suppose somebody is giving me pleasure. That person withdraws the pleasure. Then what can I do? Should I become miserable? If
No.
somebody is giving me pleasure and that person withdraws the pleasure, I should say, I agree. That person withdraws, I say, I agree. That person gives, I say, I agree. Use the word. Kabul, kabul, kabul.
Yes.
I agree. I agree. I agree. If you have that attitude, then you will be happy. If you say, no, I don't agree. No, no, no. If you resist to something which is inconsistent, you will become unhappy. Learn to, therefore, I tell you, the two most beautiful wings that we must fly. We have got two hands, but think of them as two wings. One is called acceptance. Accept, accept, accept. Second, surrender, surrender, surrender. A human being cannot surrender. Rumataji, human being cannot surrender because human being thinks I.
Yes.
I. The human being is not able to surrender. But a रूह माताजी, जो रूह है, जो आत्मा है, वो अर्पण करता है. समर्पण करना जीवन जो ये जिसने दिया वही संभालेंगे. जो भी होता उनके हाथों में है, क्यों है डरना, अर्पण करना है. छोड़ दे जीवन अपना, उनके हाथों में जीवन छोड़ दे. Are you able to do that? When you do that, you are not worried about inconsistent pleasures. Remember, you can't control people's actions, but you can control your reaction, because it is your reaction.
गुरुजी, रूह की तरह रहेंगे तो आनंद ही आनंद है.
अरे रूह की तरह रहेंगे ना माताजी. अगर हम रूह समझ के जिएंगे ना, there is no question of any pain. We will not have pleasure. We will have ananda. We will have nirvana. That's why I tell you always that song. आप वो song याद है आपको song? रूह बिन तो तन है मरता, रूह बिन ये है मिट्टी, रूह ही तो है सब कुछ, रूह बिन मैं कुछ भी नहीं, रूह बिन तो मौत हो जाती, रूह ही तो है शक्ति, रूह ही है ये आत्मा, रूह बिन हम कुछ भी नहीं. What are we without the रूह? We are nothing. We are nothing. मिट्टी. रूह है तो ही हम जिंदा है, रूह बिन हम यूं ही मर जाते, रूह ही सब कुछ है. So Rumataji, that is with that attitude, there can be, you can deal with these pleasures which are inconsistent if you become the Ruh. Rajan, thank you. Rajan.
Namaste. Namaste, Guruji. Shivaham.
Namaste.
If we lost our consciousness in the pleasure, we will lose the pleasure itself. If we lose our consciousness in the pleasure, while enjoying pleasure, if we lose the consciousness, we will lose the pleasure itself. No pleasure.
You know why? You know why?
Because losing consciousness means I am thinking this pleasure is, I am the doer. I am the doer. Then we lose the consciousness.
And you're enjoying that pleasure. When you lose consciousness, what Vivek also said, then you're enjoying the pleasure in the mind state.
Yes.
When you're enjoying the pleasure in the mind state, the need becomes a greed. When you're enjoying the mind state, the mind has got more expectations. When you're enjoying the pleasure, the mind will bombard you with thoughts, and that pleasure will become a pain.
Pain, okay. Pressure will lose.
But when you are enjoying it in consciousness, Rajan, then what happens?
This is the ultimate.
Then you enjoy. Then you enjoy, whatever be the pleasure. I told you it may be a simple toffee. I enjoy the toffee so much, a small toffee. I enjoy the toffee so much. Or a simple coffee. I enjoy the coffee so much because it is in consciousness. You must have toffee also in consciousness. You understand?
Yes, yes.
You must have toffee also in consciousness. Coffee also in consciousness, not in mind.
Right. If
in mind,
it will lead to greed and
it will make you pain. It will create a lot of pain. It will create attachment. It creates expectation. It creates disappointment.
Okay. Thank you.
Learn to accept pleasure as a prasadam.
Yes.
Next time you get pleasure, don't use the word pleasure. Say, I got prasadam. Prasadam. If God gives the prasadam, take it.
That's it.
Correct?
Yes.
For me, if I get coffee in the hand, I say, thank you, Lord. Even one toffee in the hand, I say, thank you, Lord. Why? Because it is divine. It is divine. It should be accepted as something divine, whatever it is. Don't become a slave. See, people in this call today, amazing. Actually, if you see this call, I am not relevant in this call. I do not need me in this call at all. All of you have all the answers. What am I have no function to play at all. I am nothing in this call.
I don't agree.
You can have the call without me.
I don't agree.
Yes.
No,
not correct.
Because I am not doing anything in this call. All of you are in command.
Only because of your presence, we are happy.
Okay. So what else do you want to talk about?
Sir.
I am
you
the
are
GPS.
the GPS for us. Yes.
So I also need GPS. Huh? You are saying I am the GPS, but the truth is I also need GPS. Without GPS, sometimes I get lost. Correct? Right or wrong? You are saying I am GPS, but without GPS, I get lost. I need GPS. So we all need GPS. It's a GPS is different. For you, maybe it's good if you find the GPS in me. If you find the GPS in me, what am I giving you? I'm giving you the right direction. Every day in the Zoom call, why I tell come every day on this call? Because every day I do course correction. What does the GPS show us? The GPS tells us you're in the right direction. Go left, after 100 meters, turn right, turn left. The GPS is very important. You know, without a GPS, we cannot reach our destination. We need GPS. But GPS has different meanings. To somebody, GPS is a global positioning system. To somebody, it is Guru's powerful signal. For me, GPS has another meaning altogether. My GPS is my inspiration. My GPS, I also have GPS. You think I don't have GPS? I have GPS. That GPS is my inspiration. That GPS takes me forward. The GPS gives me the power. The GPS takes me to that level which I can speak to you. So we all need GPS. Okay. So anybody has any more question?
Shivam Mayor.
Shivam.
Yesterday, Kavita Punjabi typed the one very good point regarding mind and consciousness, the difference.
Yes. Yes.
Like mind is fear and consciousness is faith.
So it is a beautiful point, but it gets
Yeah.
covered into mind creates a lot of junk and consciousness gives us what makes us a monk. Because if you go into the various emotions, you must tell Kavita, mind creates fear, consciousness creates faith, mind creates hate, consciousness creates love, mind creates anger, consciousness gives forgiveness, mind creates pessimism, consciousness gives optimism. All this is that point. Mind creates nep, consciousness creates pep. All this comes into that one macro quality that mind will fill us with junk, but it is consciousness that will make us a divine monk. You know, I told you, mind can kill you. Beware of the mind. I tell people, because of mind, you can make such wrong decisions. Sometimes the decision is irreversible. Beware, beware, beware. Sometimes one man, he's so depressed with the mind. He goes and jumps in the ocean. He jumps in the ocean, he dies. That's suicide. It's over. Can you reverse it? Can you reverse it? That man would never do it if that man was in a state of consciousness. But what do? There was one man, he told one lady loved him a lot. The lady loved him a lot. And that man, because he was in the mind state, he told her, get out of my life. I don't want you. It's final. It's finished. Go out. Pack your bags. Take her. He put her in the car. Put her bags. Put the driver. He told, take this bloody woman out of my life. I don't want to see her face ever again. I don't want to see her face ever again. He put in the car. He put the bag. He put little money. He told the man, take her to the train station and leave her. Who did it? The mind. The driver took her, put her in the train, gave her some money. The lady is crying. That lady loves him so much. That lady is crying. He puts her in the train and the train goes. Next morning, he wakes up and consciousness, he says, where is this lady who loves me so much? I want this lady. Where is this lady? But this lady is gone. You know, then he's sitting in consciousness. You know, then what happens? Then he hears in All India Radio, he hears one song. He hears, फूल खिलते हैं, लोग मिलते हैं, फूल खिलते हैं, लोग मिलते हैं, मगर पतझड़ में जो फूल मुरझा जाते हैं, वो बहारों के आने पे खिलते नहीं. कुछ लोग एक दिन जो बिछड़ जाते हैं, वो हजारों के आने पे मिलते नहीं. उम्र भर चाहे कोई पुकारा करे उनका नाम, वो फिर नहीं आते, वो फिर नहीं आते. Have you heard this song? So mind can make us lose the love of our life. Mind can make us lose everything. Therefore, we should not live in the mind state. Yesterday, we spoke about this, and Rekha Parvani took me back to this yesterday's point. Mind versus consciousness. Yesterday's call was fantastic. Not that today's call, because today's call is a practical call. In today's call, what is important? How to deal with pleasure. We must enjoy pleasure. We must enjoy whatever pleasure comes to us as a prasadam. Don't feel guilty. If you listen to some Swami on the TV, what he will say? Ye tyag karo putra, putri, ye khana mat khao. Putri, sirf dal aur chawal khana, dal aur chapati aur bhindi. Kabhi bhi pizza mat khana. Kabhi bhi kuch. This is what some Swami will tell you on the TV. सिर्फ दाल और चपाती डेली खाना और कुछ नहीं खाना, वो भी एक चपाती या दो चपाती. So this is a practical way of living. Don't be a slave. Be in consciousness. Enjoy the pleasure. Take it as a prasadam. Every day Every day I try to take you one step forward on the journey of enlightenment. Every day, my goal is take you. What is my goal? My goal is to help you reach yours. My goal is to help you reach yours. Okay, I think we have Bliko wanting to ask a question. Bliko.
My question is we know the mind is a rascal and mind is the biggest enemy, right? But why it is like mind is by default very strong, and we need to nurture consciousness to control that. Why it is not other way around? Why even we are conscious entity, we still are having to fight with mind all the time, and mind most of the time comes with a greater energy and try to defeat us, and most of the time it is successful.
But that is a game called life, no, Bliko. That is the game called life. See, Bliko, please pay attention. Don't lose consciousness. Please pay attention. 8 billion people. All 8 billion people are sick. All 8 billion are sick, but they don't know. All are sick. All 8 billion people and all the trillion dogs and cats and birds and flies, all are sick, but they don't know. Now, if the mind was not there, then everybody would become one with the divine. Everybody cannot become one with the divine. That's why Bliko is Bliko. Why is Bliko special? Suppose today Bliko, like many people in this call, if you notice, they come few days. After few days, they don't come in this call. Why? What happened? Tell me. Bliko, tell me what happened.
Yeah, they have defeated by their circumstances.
The mind defeated them. If the mind had not defeated them today, you would not have, this call would have had 200 people on the call. You have only 50 or 60 people on this call. Only 50, 60 people have won over the mind. The moment tomorrow, suppose tomorrow you see Sudip Bhargava is not there. What happened to Sudip Bhargava? If the mind defeats Sudip Bhargava, then he will tell, what this bloody nonsense in this asker, I'm going and wasting my time every day. Who defeated him? The mind. So, Bliko, the winning the mind is the biggest challenge. If we do not win the mind, I'm telling you, the biggest game in this world is the mind game. And we have to win the mind game. If we don't win the mind, I told you, people can commit suicide because of the mind. People can lose the love of their life because of the mind. People can destroy everything. People can destroy everything in the state of mind, but not in the state of consciousness. You know why, Bliko? Tell me, give me answer, Bliko. Why in the state of consciousness we cannot destroy anything? Please tell me why.
Because in consciousness, mind is not there.
And what is the other reason?
And you get connected with the divine. And
no, you're missing the point. Who knows the point? Intellect.
Use intellect.
Who gave the answer? Intellect. Who gave the answer? Bliko gave? I don't know who gave the answer. So
Girish gave.
Girish gave. See, in the mind state, Bliko, you lose. But in consciousness state, in the state of consciousness, the mind is not there. In the state of consciousness, the mind is not there. In the state of consciousness, the intellect is there. The intellect comes back and tells you what the intellect tells you. Back to pavilion. Intellect tells you, let's go back to state of consciousness. Don't be a fool. Don't get caught in the mind state. Who tells this? Your intellect. Nobody else tells you. Your own intellect. So I told you we are making one coin. One side is mind, one side is intellect or consciousness. So that mind was, when we are going to give you all a coin. When you lose your mind, when you lose yours to the mind, take the mind coin and turn it around and say, I will move from mind to consciousness. In the state of consciousness, Bliko, intellect comes alive. That's why, Bliko, God has given us both. SIP has given us both. SIP has given us thought, which can become the mind. And SIP has given us the opportunity to be still in consciousness and activate the intellect. We have to be in that state. So I hope you got the answer. This is the challenge, Bliko, for everybody in this world to reach. Last point by Roop. If man is a divine soul, why do the illusion of ignorance overtake him? Same point, Bliko, you said. Roop is asking in a different way. If man is a divine soul, then why does ignorance overtake him? Roop, ignorance overtakes him because man is supposed to seek God. Man is supposed to seek sip. Instead of man seeking sip, sip is only on the lip. And man is busy having chai and pakoda. And in this chai and pakoda business, in this world of beer and whiskey, and in this world where there are pleasures beyond consciousness, pleasures that make man a slave. Roop, the problem is, although man is a divine soul, man is ignorant that he is the soul. Man, that's why on this call, why are we coming on this call every day, Roop? We are coming on this call every day to remind us that you are the divine soul. You are Ruh. You are Atma. You are not the body, mind. When you realize this, then you enjoy pleasures without sinking in yoga. You enjoy the pleasure in yoga. With that note, from an outdoor location in Iceland on a Sunday evening, I bow down to you and we will see you tomorrow at 8.